Hey guys, welcome back to Rose Typology and my entirely random sample of the day is Dr. Mayim Bialik. And she came on my radar because I saw this video in my feed. CIA, MK Ultra, mind control techniques are being used today and how to protect yourself. And of course, my curiosity was piqued, and then I thought, oh, well, maybe I can make her my new subject because I don't really think anyone mainstream has typed her. And as I was watching this, I was contrasting her a little bit against the guest who, and spoiler alert, I am thinking she's probably a 6'7", but she comes across much more like self-assured than some sixes. Like the kind of the self-doubt, self-deprecating thing isn't always as obvious with her, but once I started looking at interviews and such, I could definitely see it. She's definitely a head type. She is an actual neuroscientist and an intellectual, and it was kind of interesting because she had a little career revival on The Big Bang Theory, playing a neuroscientist. And she's also been actively involved in like discussions about religion. Like she is a Jewish woman, and like not so much politics, but like kind of it is really getting into politics territory when she wrote or co-authored some books on parenting and came out as a someone who was opting not to vaccinate her kids a few years ago. But interestingly enough, I read through this earlier and it looks like she eventually caved to pressure. Um, but yeah, sorry guys, I'm like extra spacey today. My allergies have been really rough and gosh, it kind of I swear it affects my brain. But anyway, so she came on the scene as a child actress in Blossom. And then she's done a lot of things too. This actually had me kind of thinking, sorry, there's a little bug buzzing around, but she's done all sorts of things. And I was initially thinking she could be a seven just because she has so much asserted energy and some frustration themes going through, but and also like kind of an odd face, like no shade to her at all, but I kind of associate core sevens with having kind of like odd, somewhat elongated faces. With maybe more like pronounced, unusual features. It's like a hexad face. But so she hosted Jeopardy for a little bit, and family of Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe. She's probably Ashkenazi Jew, so of course she's very big brain, one of the chosen ones, and that's a huge part of her identity. To this day, it's a big part of her identity, and that kind of had me seeing that and many other things, seeing like probably SO, SP for her, because her heritage and the Jewish faith and even the language, like she minored in Hebrew in school. So these are like pretty strong themes through her life. And she got Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience, again, minors in Hebrew and Jewish studies. And then she said she didn't have the grades for medical school, but she wanted to, wasn't quite smart enough for medical school, so settled for neuroscience. But yeah, I've seen her in multiple interviews, like downplaying her intelligence and her IQ. And that kind of was one of the factors that skewed me towards core six for her. She is very heady. Like, there's no way she's not a head type, but so us older people will know her from Blossom, and she was a steady working actress. And again, she did like Jeopardy for a while. She wrote and directed a film and started this Grok Nation thing. to facilitate conversations among people of different ages and backgrounds about issues. So yeah, I think probably SOSP. Aim to engage readers in online conversations that led to offline action. Yeah, I do think she's double super ego as well, mobilizing them to change the world as a community. To grok, I didn't know this. To grok means to understand in a profound manner. And then she had written on a similar idea for Jewish telegraphic agency affiliated Jewish parenting site, Caveller, for 5 years. She announced and described her new creation on Caveller. So yeah, I mean, she's been really active. And she's tried her hand at a lot of different things. And I think that speaks to like being a core six with a seven wing and just having more of like this like expansive wing on her core six. And so this is kind of like the political stuff where she's donated money and then very vocal since the October 7th attack, saying she was speechless amid the exceptionally painful Gaza war, speaking up against anti-Semitism on college campuses, and then um yeah, so and she has dipped her toes in. She was heavily criticized and accused of considering the lives of Palestinians less important than those of Israelis. So even the fact that she's gone public and taken stances like this, I think it speaks to her having assertive influence. Like I do think she has a three fix and probably one in her gut. So yeah, I'm thinking she's like a 631, 613, probably 631. But when criticized for supporting Israel, she responded by limiting her comments and calling herself a victim of anti-Semitism, which I'm sure she has experienced that, but like that's kind of the six. Like I'm legitimate, I have a voice here because I've been victimized type of thing. So she even promoted on her social media a children's book that portrays Israelis as the sole owners of Palestine. Okay. She's also a vegan. And I do find, like, anecdotally, that a lot of vegans out there have a lot of super ego influence, like Pamela Anderson, who I tagged like a month ago, having a six fix. Because that would be like really hard. Like, you'd have to have really, really strong convictions to stick with that kind of lifestyle, IMO. And she actually opened a restaurant called the Bodhi Bowl, which closed post-COVID. So again, she's just trying all sorts of things. And then I guess after the Harvey Weinstein scandal, she wrote a New York Times op-ed in 2017, which she described the entertainment industry as one that profits on the exploitation of women and the objectification of women. With regard to protecting herself from sexual harassment, she wrote that she dressed modestly and did not act flirtatiously with men. Sounds very SOSP. In a perfect world, women should be free to act however they want, but our world isn't perfect. Nothing, absolutely nothing, excuses men for assaulting or abusing women. But we can't be naive about the culture we live in. So, of course, she got backlash from critics who said it was insinuating that modesty and a conservative wardrobe can guard one against sexual assault. And Patricia Arquette was clapping back at her, but she went on to say she regretted that the piece became what it became and actually hosted a live event to answer questions about it. So again, like that kind of speaks to me about that 6-1 stem where she is weighing in on kind of like these super ego type of, well, at least from like a super ego type lens of, well, this is what I've done to protect myself against sexual harassment, and that wasn't necessarily received well, though I think there is a degree of truth in that, and you can be like attacked just for suggesting that the way you present yourself influences the way that other people are going to perceive you or treat you. But that's kind of the current political climate that we live in. So she was married. I thought this was funny. So when she got married, her fiance converted to Judaism for her. So that to me speaks to her having that oomph in her tie with the 3-1 stem, kind of just not being compromising on her convictions. So she went to back to television in 2010 as opposed to continuing her scientific career so she could spend more time with her children. And in one of these interviews I was looking at, she said it was also for the very practical purpose of getting health insurance. So she is a modern Orthodox Jew, and that's probably like a frequent topic for her on her YouTube channel. But in a 2009 interview, she said of her family, "We are a non-vaccinating family, but I make no claims about people's individual decisions." It's kind of like six, like just doing a little bit of a semantic disclaimer. "We based ours on research and discussions with our pediatrician, and we've been happy with that decision, but obviously there's a lot of controversy about it." It's like she's aware of the controversy, but she can't help but weigh in and put her own thoughts out there. So in the middle of the COVID pandemic, she said that she had not received a vaccination in 30 years. She planned to be vaccinated against both the flu and COVID. So as of today, my children may not have had every one of the vaccinations that your children have, but my children are vaccinated. So she also said that her children were not vaccinated at the time of her 2012 book, Beyond the Sling, but they have since received a delayed vaccination schedule. So I don't know, I kind of see that in my own little skeptical view of caving, a little bit of caving to the pressure being put on her. And oh, what can we get from her visually? Good, she's very, I think she's attractive. It's definitely in like an unconventional way. And just from looking at pictures of her, like the glasses and everything, she just looks like a head type. To me, you would look at her and probably assume that she has achieved higher education. She is intelligent. Yeah, there's like a openness to her, a lot of smiling in pictures. I was thinking she probably on her 3-fix has a 2 wing. So I'm getting some frustration, but not really like any hits of 4 from her. And I don't really remember a whole lot about the Blossom show, but I'm assuming that part of the appeal of that character was just that she was relatable. People could relate to her. And then in some of these older shows that she did, you can really see the Six influence. We'll check this one out.
Dying. I mean, don't panic. We're all dying. As Bob Dylan famously declared, he who is not busy being born is busy dying. Before we talk more about that happy topic, make sure to like this channel, subscribe, and click the bell icon here. Click the bell icon to get notifications about all of my videos.
So like she's friendly and smiley, but there's also something that's pretty like commanding about her. Like she would not be out of place, like teaching a class and being able to command her presence and get everyone to listen.
Let's get back to talking about how we're all dying. I've always been mildly terrified about dying and death. I think that the last birthday that I enjoyed without the concrete awareness of our hurtling towards death, which is indicated by aging, was when I was 9. My realization after the age of 9 has subsequently ruined all birthdays for me until the end of time. Ironically, I'm not obsessed with youth. Many who ruminate about dying or aging go to great lengths to stay young. They exercise obsessively, or they stay on top of the latest plastic surgery crazes. They eat only the things that current dietary trends claim will keep you young. That's not me. I prefer to maintain a low level of depression. I specialize in listening to mopey music, and I read existential philosophy, which confirms the inevitability of our doom. And yes, I am free all weekend. Something has happened, though.
So yeah, you see her kind of making light of and joking about her neuroses and intense fear around death, and also like doing the sixth thing of like trying to like navigate through life by like referencing these external marks of location. Like I read philosophy, I do this, I do that. I'm shutting out this stuff from society that is not helping me.
In the last 3 years that has made me aware of my mortality in ways that I don't like. Well, I'll give you a hint. It's worse than death or dying. It's worse than the two of them put together. You know what that thing is? It's called aging. I found my first gray hair when I was pregnant with my second son. So that was 11 years ago. It was kind of an outlier, and I was literally able to pluck the grays that I found for a good handful of years. I know you're not supposed to do it, but I did it anyway. Rebel. But then the gray hairs grew too numerous. And here we are. Because I am fair-haired, a lot of my grays, I'm told, look like they're blonde. But I know they're not. Have I ever dyed my hair to get rid of these grays? No. Why? Because I'm lazy. Okay, so gray hairs. But I know you're wondering, what else? What else is going on with Mayim Bialik in her aging process? Tell me. Well, I'm glad you asked.
And so like even the fact that she made this video, it's very six-ish to me. It's very like I'm facing the horrors of aging, but I'm gonna make it funny and make it like I'm putting it out there, making it relatable.
My ability to read the ingredients on any bottle disappeared about 2 years ago. Literally overnight. One day I could read my ibuprofen bottle, the next day, nothing. It shocked me. Like, literally, it shocked me. I know why this happens. It has to do with the muscles of basically the zoom lens of your eyeball. And with age, the muscles get tired. I know about these muscles. I've studied them. I've taught people about them. It didn't make it any easier, that medicine going down. You want to know what it looked like? It looked like this. Like, whoa, what? Since I'm already nearsighted, I now have to wear progressive lenses, which I add to my list of things I can't believe are so expensive, and I have to live in a world where I have to pay for them. So now that's a thing.
So that's the frustration coming through. So if she's six with a seven wing, so seven is a frustration type, it would give her more of like this kind of hyperactive head energy, but also I do think she's one fixed. And so there would be that added frustration from one being a frustration type that she's like, I can't believe I have to live in this world.
I now need glasses to see both far and near. Are we having fun yet? Gray hairs, vision loss, what else? Before I answer that, I want to thank the Great Courses Plus for sponsoring this video. The Great Courses Plus is an on-demand subscription learning service with over 11,000 videos by my link below to get a 30-day free trial. Let's get back to my aging process, since I know you're wondering, what else could go wrong? She can't see, her hair's turning gray. What's next? Well, apparently, this is news to me. When women hit a certain age, and that age varies, you begin a 10-year journey into menopause. This means that for about 10 years before your lady cycle ceases completely and you never have to buy feminine products again, you go through a decade of a variety of symptoms.
So, and one thing that's standing out to me too is that she is like, there's a lot of that six wing seven, like, relatable. We're all going through this. I'm going through this with you guys, but also like, she is very like teacherly. Like, she's also teaching us, about these physical realities. So I'm thinking like on her one fix, it's probably a two wing.
Which well-meaning doctors and midwives refer to as perimenopause. I'll spare you the full details, but here are the highlights. Indiscriminate sweating, produced by what feels like a furnace inside of your body. Inability to lower the thermostat of your body, which can be activated by doing something such as walking up a single flight of stairs. Some women have warned me about night sweats, which means you wake up in your bed and it's blind,
Okay.
sweating, and unable to jump on a trampoline. Are we having fun yet? I'm not done, because the most recent thing that's happened to this old hag is that my hearing has taken a hit. It happened overnight. I swear, it happened overnight, much like the vision thing. One day, I could hear everything. And the next day, things like this started coming out of people's faces. Hippopotamus squiggle bottom. What? Like, I'm
Honestly, I
sorry,
think
what?
it's kind of funny,
Go to
like
the store?
Christmas
Oh, of
stories.
course. That's what you said.
My husband and I are both JI leads in cognitive type, and we both have really soft voices. So it's throughout the day, every single day, one of us, mostly him, he's like mumbling something quietly, and I can't hear him. And I'm like, what? What? Every single day. And I'm like, it's just gonna get worse as we get older. We're just not gonna be able to hear each other
What?
at all.
I'm sorry, what? I decided not to fight it. 150 years, but we're still.
Okay. So then this one was really good too. And this is the one that had the touching end.
An old school vlog in so long. And that's actually how this YouTube channel started, was me doing vlogs. Are they still called vlogs? Yes, they're still called vlogs. Okay, good. I know a lot of you come here to watch our podcast, Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, so I do want to say thank you for being on this journey with us. I just did this crazy thing for 2 weeks that's sort of inspired by the podcast.
Okay, and little CT note for people who are interested. And if you're not interested, this is just bonus. So she is probably a TESI in cognitive type, and she would kind of be like a pseudo ENFP because she does have a lot of NE. Like with her, I see like a lot of casual hands and kind of like the almost like hyperactivity of having two extroverted functions conscious, TE and NE. But you'll see a lot of like candid expressions from her, and also me too. I'm candid. I'm an FI lead. There's like a lot of like asymmetrical mouth movements. Like deltas have like the most asymmetrical, we're quirky faces, quirky self-expression. Everything is off being quirky.
Sort of its own thing, but it really felt like I needed to communicate to you what happened in a vlog. So here we are. Here's the thing that I did. I unplugged completely for 2 weeks. No cell phone, no computer, no social media, no news, no emails, no phone calls, no talking to friends, no talking to my mom, no Amazon, no Yelp, no Google Maps, no shopping. Very little of anything really happened in those 2 weeks. I didn't think I could do it. I have so much work to do. So many people rely on me. I couldn't imagine not being constantly available all of the time. So why did I do this enormous thing? Well, here's what my life was looking like more and more as it should have been opening up more and more. My heart skipped a beat, and not in a good way, when I went to pick up my phone. I started dreading the mornings because of everything that I knew was waiting to be answered or replied to and processed and analyzed and dealt with. I started dreading the evenings because of all the work that I hadn't accomplished during the day. Sleeping even close to soundly was becoming harder and harder, and my eating habits were becoming shakier by the day. I was simultaneously compelled to look at the news and devastated every time I looked at the news. I started getting
So yeah, I mean that right there speaks to six, like compelled to look at the news, devastated by the news, and also like the I think like 613 or like the 136 try is known probably as like the most workaholic because there's like competency from one and three, so it's double competency. It's also double super ego. So she's kind of describing her life and all of her brain space being taken over by her like long list of things to do, and to the point that she felt like she couldn't escape it. And if she were a nine, perhaps, like say she was a nine or had like a strong nine fix, she would just ignore it. She would just like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm just gonna go walk in the woods with my dog until I'm ready to face this shit. But this was a real struggle for her and destroying her mental health.
agitated if my phone didn't type as fast as I wanted it to. I felt like I was walking around under a dark cloud. I was irritable and grumpy with every driver on the road and every pedestrian on the street. Like everything was pissing me off.
And I think that speaks to the frustration influence in her type. Just like I think frustration, I know for myself, I've got some frustration influence. Nine with a one wing, it can come out as like irritability. And I think that like for me personally, that's probably one of like the main things I get as far as negative feedback is that I can be pretty irritable. When I'm not just allowed to like chill peacefully in my own space.
My life was essentially moving faster than I could keep up with. And it kind of felt like something's got to give. So I decided to do this thing. I put some safeguards in place. My ex-husband and my kids did have a way to reach me through a
The six maxing, like everything's about safety and doing it responsibly.
dumb phone. It was actually advertised as a senior phone, which seems pretty fitting for the way I operate. So there you have it. I set a vacation responder on my email, and that was it. Bye. I proceeded into 2 weeks of digital detox and communication isolation, and I waited to see what the universe would show me. And wow, did the universe have things to show me. Here are the top 4 things I learned in my 2 weeks of complete communication and digital isolation. Number 1, it's okay to be me. I've always felt like I was born in the wrong era, and these 2 weeks confirmed that. I'm going to put this as plainly as my partner did after just a few days of me not being constantly tethered to my phone and the internet and the news. Not everyone should have access to technology all day, all of the time. I'm one of those people. Like, maybe I was supposed to live in an era where all this stuff was not a thing. Much as I try and be hip and with it, this brain is not meant to
More
be wired to a
frustration.
phone or the computer or the internet for most hours of any given day. My relationship with my phone is a little bit like Gollum and his precious. I cannot let go of being constantly connected to it, even though it consumes me, even when I don't want it to. I was able to get in touch with how profoundly my phone was affecting me pretty much right when I stopped using it. My mood shifted pretty significantly after just a few days of not being on my phone, not being on my computer, not texting, not checking things, not looking up traffic, not seeing how long it would take for me to get from point A to point B. The level of anxiety and irritability that I had sort of gotten used to as my new normal began to lift as I wasn't constantly attached to all of the information everywhere all at once. So what's the solution? Well, I can't stop being me, so I've decided that I need to make life closer to a life that works for the me that I am. And what that means is I can't constantly be available through my phone and my computer. And I don't exactly know if that means a time limit or an app time limit. I don't have to know right now. But what I do know is that I can't go back to the way things were before. Number 2, it's okay to have unstructured time. Here's the truth, people. I often use my phone to
See, it's okay to have unstructured time. Like, I think like even the fact that she would feel that need to give herself permission, it speaks to like core attachment. And also like 613, like the double competency, the double super ego, I always have to be protective. Like if she was a different type structure, like this would not be an issue that she needed to address.
avoid being alone with the thoughts in my head. Why? Well, I don't know, but apparently there are a lot of feelings up in there. And as humans, it's uncomfortable to feel those feelings, and it is comforting to avoid them. I see this now very clearly. I know all about phones hurting our brains and how they destroy the organic nature of how we learn and think and process, and even how we experience boredom, which is also known as a window to creativity. Why do I know this? Mostly because I've done a ton of research so that I could talk to my kids about how bad their phones are for them. Do you see the irony there? Well, turns out I'm really no better. I fall into the trap of
So, and this is like the six super ego, like truth telling, like kind of like telling on herself, like pointing out her own hypocrisy, pointing out her own addiction and moral shortcomings. I'll really to inspire others though, which I think is like the 6-1 STEM working together and then like SOSP.
checking my phone even when I say that I won't. I'm pretty sure that's the definition of addiction. Without my phone attached to me, I got to re-experience the gift of watching people instead of watching my phone, of staring out the window when Jonathan drove us places. I took walks. I went to the beach. I swam in the ocean as I haven't since I was a child. I played a little pickleball. I did yoga, breath work. I meditated a lot. I took out my set of acrylic paints that I literally haven't touched in years. I wrote letters, people. I wrote letters. I wrote letters to my kids at camp. I wrote letters to, there's so much to be discovered. There's so much to be explored. There's so much more waiting to be revealed. But I plan to see what's next 2 minutes at a time. Because 2 minutes of breathing deeply into my belly, not just my chest, is enough to lower my heart rate. And 2 minutes is enough to witness a hummingbird dancing on the purple flowers of Mexican sage. 2 minutes is enough to muster up gratitude for being alive and being able to love and laugh and dance and cry and praise something greater than me who supports me when my heart cracks open and I start to heal trauma. 2 minutes is all it takes to look someone in the eye and tell them, I love you and you are a blessing in my life, and to hold them deeply and to remember how the smell of someone you love can stir your soul in ways that checking your phone never will. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, and see, there's a lot going on there, but one thing I'm seeing is like the positivity. Like you should put yourself through this horrible experience so you can reconnect to these things that really matter. And so I believe she would have like a triple positive overlay if she was 6 with a 7 wing, 1 fixed with a 2 wing, and then 3 also with a 2 wing. So that'd be like a double 2 wing, and the 7 wing would give her that triple positive overlay. So like she kind of needs to end this on a positive note. And like what we're all learning through this, and she's holding herself up as an example. And then we can check out this one too.
I think something that's amazingly cool about you is after Blossom, you went back to school for your PhD. What did you get your PhD in?
I got my PhD in neuroscience from UCLA. And
wow.
Yes, thank you. And I like to say, besides getting you a part on the Big Bang Theory, I was also made the spokesperson of Texas Instruments calculators. So that's what you get with a PhD in neuroscience. Big Bang Theory, and you're the spokesperson for graphing calculators.
That is, I actually do think that's, I do applaud that. I love the idea that you decided, no, I want to go out and get a serious education. And I also know that Big Bang, that is a show that is very serious about getting the facts right. When they talk about science, they want the facts to be right, even though I'm watching it, it could be anything. You know, I'm like a cat. They could write anything on the board. Do you actually help them keep the facts straight as a neuroscientist?
You know, when I auditioned for the part, on my resume under miscellaneous, it says PhD neuroscience, because I didn't know where else to put it on an acting resume. So I put it under miscellaneous. And Bill Prady.
Where most people put juggling.
I did. Speaks Hebrew, Spanish, PhD in neuroscience.
Wow.
And Bill Prady, our creator, executive producer at the audition, said, is this for real? I said, yeah, it kind of is. I have a PhD. So when they brought me back for the 4th season, he said they figured, why not make her what I am so that I can, you know, fix small things if they're wrong. But generally, they get pretty much everything right.
So I talk to my writers about, like, oh, yeah, I'm not sure that was the funniest way to go. You correct them on, no.
That's not the region of the brain that does that.
I love that.
Thank you.
Doctor, could you...
Yes.
Could you explain my children to me? I mean, is that... When they make those plans, are they... What is that about? Isn't it the boy, the young male's frontal lobe, or his reasoning, executive functional area?
It's impulse control, yes.
Don't girls get it at 14 or 15, they can think, and boys not till 22, or is that a wives' tale?
There is some...
Because that's what I'm experiencing.
Well, there is a theory.
You don't mind if I talk to him, do you?
No, there is a theory that...
Sorry.
There is a theory that boys never get it.
Right, never...
We never actually experience that
That's why
ability.
they do crazy things, right?
There's variation.
It's kind of funny. I just noticed this, like, a little irritated there when Conan was like making it funny because she was like gonna go into teacher mode and explain this to him. And she has like a real self-confidence about her, which I think we're gonna see in the next video in contrast, like how much that those 2 fixes, that stem can influence the core type.
In the development of the frontal lobe, and that is some impulse control.
But girls get it faster.
Statistically speaking, yes.
Yeah, because I'm seeing that.
Can I go back to talking to him?
Go ahead.
No, I believe...
Carmen, can you ask the doctor a question?
Andy, next question.
Well, I'm not around a doctor in neuroscience all the time. This is very exciting.
I'm not around you all the time. It's great.
We got to get together.
You played... You two have something in common, which is you played a role... when you were a child before Blossom, you played a role that helped prepare you for the Big Bang Theory.
Right, I did a role when I was 11 years old. I had just started acting, and I did, you know, I was a character actress. You know, this face on an 11-year-old gets character roles. I did 8 episodes. I did 8 episodes.
A little bit of the six humility with humor thing.
Of Webster, and I played this super nerd called Frida, and I based it on the church lady. And I brought a picture.
Really?
They have the picture.
You actually
I'm very
tried, yeah, I
flattered.
think we have a split screen here of theirs.
All right. Yeah, we'll just watch the short one.
Being on The Big Bang Theory,
Yes.
how many people, not that you aren't a genius, but how many people think that you can solve calculus at the drop of a hat?
I actually was trained in calculus for several years. Yeah, I'm a neuroscientist, so you may not have known that. Yeah,
I am a neuroscientist. So like, yeah, I mean, I feel like some of the six-ish traits are like kind of diminished with the assertiveness of three and then the kind of just the unmovable strength that like a one fix provides.
I knew you were some kind of scientist.
I'm a
not
neuroscientist. Yeah, I can do calculus. I can
Okay.
do that. But yeah, I think people assume that of all of us, and you don't have to have a PhD in neuroscience to be on our show, I promise.
Well, a tidbit for all the audience here tonight. She is actually a neuroscientist.
I'm glad I asked.
She's been planning for this role her whole life.
Exactly, yeah. Well, just for 12 years, but yeah.
Just for 12 years.
Just for 12 years. Okay. All right, and then we'll just check out a little bit of this video.
About why someone would say, I killed her, I robbed that bank. Why would someone admit to something if they didn't do it?
The super weapon of mind control. By the 1960s, the communists had this secret weapon. There was a great deal of effort made to reproduce the weapon, to understand the dynamics of whatever had happened to the 21 POWs who refused repatriation.
All right, I'm like with this lady, just for contrast, maybe she's a core 9, but she's probably like in the 962, like the Stockholm area, and like her energy is so much more like soft and diminished than our girl, Dr. Mayim.
To the United States, it was seen as defensively necessary, so we need to know how they did it and we need to defend against it. So this is why there was a vast program in the military to create survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training. And that's where they started systematically exposing military personnel to the same brainwashing. The military sent a memo, new creation.
Hi, I'm Mayim Bialik.
I'm Jonathan Cohen.
And welcome to a special MBB Reports about the instability of truth. What do you know to be true? What do you think is true? And what if I were to tell you that you are much more easily controllable than you think you are? We're going to be talking to Rebecca Lemov, the author of The Instability of Truth, Brainwashing, Mind Control, and Hyperpersuasion. She's a professor of the history of science and a historian at Harvard. And we're going to be talking about how there is a theme that runs through all of these categories that will blow your mind. You think that you know what is true. You think that under the most harsh interrogation, you'd be able to at least hold on to who you are.
Or what you think you know.
We're going to talk about the case of Patty Hearst.
Right. So this kind of like, again, I've talked about this many times, but like the reactivity of six, it is like it would make sense that she'd be doing this type of podcast that's showing people what you think is true might not be true. And we're going to present you with the facts.
The myth is
But-
there's nothing you can do.
And you can see it with her titles. And she's getting into some woo stuff. Like this lady was like a pet psychic. Your rights are being taken away. That's very like 6-1 to me. The brain is a conduit for spirituality. Is real. So this is all very like heady stuff that she's doing. And she's getting into some pretty weird territory. And I guess you could kind of make a case for this with like one fixed in gut, what like one has a line to 7. And in some ways, one being a frustration type can actually have its own oddity. Like people think of one as like very rigid, but ones or one fixers can be into like very weird stuff too. But I mean, she's doing a lot of like interesting things. Of course, there's a video on narcissism. It's like a favorite theme for sixes. She's got some stuff on anxiety. It's like, of course, like the core, well, one of the core six themes, but we can check out. There's like also kind of like a missing point here. She's hyper productive, which speaks to like again the double competency. And also the fact that she is a TE lead in CT and a double extrovert, like it's probably not hard for her to just knock out tons of content. And she's done a lot of things. She's been pretty productive in her life. And looks like she's steadily turning out these long form videos. So there's a little point for you. And then on her Instagram account, we can check out what she's doing. And yeah, I think it's what I'm kind of getting from this is like more super ego up front. It doesn't really feel very like heart-centery to me, the way, I'm thinking now like her three fix might be last because it's just it's mostly like SOSP, like I'm gonna educate the public type stuff. And obviously like little clips from her longer podcasts, but yeah, she probably takes this stuff um very seriously. We'll just check this one out.
Don't know about the... Without further ado, my sister, the amazing Mayim Bialik.
Hey!
This is awesome.
This is really funny to be here. This is a story I have told since this happened.
Oh my
gosh.
Wow.
I mean, you were very precocious,
Yeah.
this is important.
What?
We were filming at the old Desilu studios.
I loved those.
They did Golden Girls was one of the other shows. The Arthur, who frequently did not wear shoes, the Arthur was walking about and we went up to her, just clear as a bell. Andy said, "Why is the man not wearing shoes?"
Wow.
All right, it's like my favorite line. And B. Arthur did have a very deep voice.
She did have very large feet. Look, I'm defending you.
I also love that he said it in front of her. It's like one of my favorite stories.
Whoa, that is serious.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's got a pretty robust sense of humor, that seven wing. Yeah.
If you undermine the basis for objective truth, the dictator can put forward his version of truth, and there's no question about trying to prove him right or wrong. When science comes to politically correct, to woke, it ceases to earn respect as a truth-seeking institution. A lot of the Trump administration blows off science.
Dr. Steven Pinker
is the Johnstone Professor
of Psychology at Harvard University
and the world's most influential thinker on the mind
and the biggest problems facing humanity.
Our norms are enforced by common knowledge, but it's vulnerable to being punctured if someone flouts it in a public forum.
Cancel culture, in which a person's career and reputation are destroyed for legally protected and often innocuous speech that someone managed to find offensive.
In the old days, we had, of course, public hangings, burnings at the stake, but social media kind of provide the equivalent.
No matter what side of the political divide you're on, that's disturbing.
People feel the need to prop up a norm by punishing it in public. That's what dictators do all over the world.
President Trump has introduced this concept of I hold truth. Don't trust journalists. Don't trust the journalists that I don't trust.
It's not so much that I can prove things that are true. It's rather flooding the zone with shit. We have institutions like science, democracy, universities, journalism.
Okay, yeah, you get the point. So, like, it's very SOSP. Like, even I know that was mostly a featured guest that she had, but it's very like tracking wider phenomena and in society and culture. And then the sixth thing of like, we need to question everything everything that we're being told, and we need to hold politicians accountable. Okay.
Leave it to me to start a live with my camera on backwards. Good morning, everyone. I have a scheduled Substack live. I'm going to be hopping over to Substack. I have one in 20 minutes, but I did want, that's the smoke alarm, which keeps going off. It's a little bit what this week has been like. Yeah, I just, I feel, strange not saying something about Jimmy Kimmel being canceled. And in many ways, I feel strange about saying something. Not because I am not clear on what's happening, but it's so strange, being a person with, there's the smoke alarm, a person with a public platform. Do I have an obligation to say something every time something happens? No. I mean, there's so many things I can't say things about. But I believe very strongly in the need for us to protect speech, and the need to protect even speech that we don't agree with. And I've talked about.
Okay, good. I can pause this. I was wondering. So there's a few things like going on here. First of all, I think it's probably image last because like she's in her bathrobe with messy hair and she doesn't really care. Though I do think she's got that assertive punch from 3. And she's wearing her Star of David necklace, which seems like she's probably always wearing it. It's not like a stylistic choice. She's wearing it in her bathrobe, and you could say that's like double attachment. She's getting a lot of her identity from her like cultural ethnic heritage. But also I think this is speaking to the 6-1 stem, that this is really pressing and I have to address this, even though I maybe don't necessarily want to wade into the conflict. Like she's giving a lot of caveats right at the beginning there in that kind of 6-ish way. So I think I'm gonna go with 6-1. And again, like it speaks to like all the different flavors of 6s that are out there. They can come across as much more confident and self-assured the way that she does.
But I just felt the need to put it here, that
she felt the need.
It is not paranoia at this point, and at many points, to say this is bad and it's happening now, and corporations caving to what the president wants.
Honestly, it's been happening for a long time.
I'm not an expert. I'm not a politician. I just posted the statement by the Writers Guild. And yeah, it's completely wrong. It's abhorrent. It's disturbing. And I just wanted to, go on the record saying that. Again, I don't really know, what's my job, what's my responsibility, but as a citizen, and I feel like there's some pretty basic things about the democracy that we live in that are being violated. And we know that, and we've known that for a long time. Anyway, as I said, I'm going over to Substack because I have a live to do there in 15 minutes. So I should probably get out of my robe. But just wanted to say that. I hope everyone is being as kind to each other as you can. And
she is alive in 15 minutes and she's still in a robe with messy hair. Yeah, so I feel like pretty comfortable calling it. Dr. Mayim Bialik, she is a 6-wing 7, 1-wing 2, 3-wing 2, SOSP. And guys, if you have any comments or suggestions or requests, or you want to be tagged by me or join my Discord, just leave a comment. Thanks, bye.